Hey, Brian, happy to report that that officer is okay. In fact, in this crash, really no major injuries. Take a look at some of the damage. We're not talking about fender benders here. You can see the front of this car wrecked. This one, even the airbags had to come out. It's certainly one of those crashes that has you going, whew. Smash. They always say it happens so fast.
I mean, it was inside of probably 10 minutes that it went from being able to see what's going on ahead of you to not seeing it.
And here you see it for yourself. A state police motor carrier stopped on the side of the road, and here comes a way close, way fast trailer hauling truck. Luckily, it made it through without a hit. But his gutsy driving slowed traffic even more. Moments later, a semi-truck comes from behind and smash. Swaying trailer still can be seen here. Police say the driver did not stop.
I'm not even sure if he knew that he hit me.
The chain reaction not over. Watch the left side of your screen. A pickup truck loses it and frees it. Back to that in a second. Officer Dan Rosler was one of two officers hit during the series of crashes. Muskegon deputy Scott Foster was hit twice, and she was driving the white SUV you can see in the picture.
I actually lost control. I hit a car in front of me. I was thrown off and I hit the police officer who was in the ditch. There was nothing that we could do to stop, and I think he went off and continued to help other people. It was pretty scary. Scariest thing of my life.
Foster was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Some 36 crashes were involved in wrecks here on 31 near Whitehall, and for most of them, it's simply too fast for conditions. Today, thankfully, tragedy is instead a different adage.
Yeah, it could have been worse.
And here is It Could Have Been Worse personified in pictures. That too fast for conditions SUV, well, it narrowly missed smashing into the back of a semi-truck. Could have been a lot worse.
I think they need to slow down.
And that's the moral of the story really here, is to slow down, especially when you see those emergency vehicles on the side of the road with lights on top. Remember, there are moms and dads and brothers and sisters working in front of those vehicles. Certainly something to slow down for. Sun blazing.
I'm sweating.
Temps soaring.
I got on work clothes.
The dog days of summer Wednesday.
I'm hot. But you know what? It's worth it. It's worth sitting out here in this heat just to make a statement.
But with every gratifying honk or toot, these moms are convinced that this is where they belong.
And that was my youngest daughter. She was 21 at the time.
They sit posted behind posters, an ever-growing line of them, the murdered, the gunned down, the slain, all victims of violence, so many times so senseless.
She's dead because of name calling, belittling. He felt belittled. So as a man, he felt like he needed to take my child's life.
It was 1994 when Mom Barbara lost her daughter Nanette Smith to murder, a crime scene ever etched in News 8 file tape. A northeast Grand Rapids apartment where a neighbor says they heard party sounds before the killing.
Almost 20 years. It'll be 19 years this year. It's just hard to describe the feelings of that day. The pain is still there.
Ever-healing wounds reopened with every violent headline. A painful series of them grew this list plenty over the past several months, including the first poster here, victim Greg Woods Jr., added in January.
You got all these other mothers out here, all these pictures out here that have the same sad story. From us sitting out here today, you never know what may happen to save somebody else's life.
But little do they know that their shock was just beginning. Innocent victims, a husband and wife, shot to death in their own homes. But miles away from this crime scene, even before anyone knew it was a crime scene, a major piece of this case was here, behind an apartment building in Wyoming, in the 3800 block of Madison, and it was on fire. A small child heard in the background of this home video asking a pivotal question of his mommy, the answer to which would be sadly stunning.
Whose car was that?
Whose car was that? Odd indeed it was to see a burning car and no owner reacting.
Nobody did anything. Nobody came out, claimed it. Nobody said anything.
After discovering the burned car, police went to the home of David and Vivian Bauman in Kentwood, but no one answered the door. Shortly after, a neighbor reported what he thought had been an attempted break-in at his home. Footprints in the snow from there led police here to find the Baumans shot to death, and a painful but universal truth for law enforcement.
Crime knows no boundaries.
Smoke from the flaming car, presumed to be a smoldering crime cover-up, could be seen for blocks.
You could tell it was set on fire.
But whodunit had long gone.
To me, it's scary knowing that there's 2 people that got murdered and all of a sudden the car ended up out here.
And what's even more scary, perhaps, and the focus of Chief Tom Hillen and the Kentwood Police, is that the killers are still out there.
It's unfortunate. Why does it happen? I don't think we know.
Now, it's all about the quest for tips. Police say they have gotten some tips, but none yet that have led to an arrest. If you have any information, again, you're urged to call the Kentwood Police directly or Silent Observer if you want to remain anonymous. Reporting live in Wyoming tonight, Leon Hendricks, 24-hour News 8.
The leader on the House Committee on Health Policy had long refused to set the bill up for a hearing, and she certainly refused to talk with us about why. But on the day we went to Lansing and staked her office out, she apparently changed her mind.
That because we're looking for cancer, which is white.
This woman would be a perfect poster child for the problem that dense breast tissue can cause. Here you're looking at her mammogram, and radiologist David Straley says it shows that nothing is wrong.
It's sort of a shock.
Straley says this is a case where dense breast tissue is hiding a potentially deadly cancer.
When we got the breast MRI, we were all surprised to see this, which is the exact same patient, and you can clearly identify here that this is a 4 centimeter by 4 centimeter by 2.5 centimeter tumor in that left breast, simply not seen on the mammogram.
The problem is many doctors don't tell patients they have dense breast tissue, and that's what House Bill 4260 aims to change. The bill, introduced by new Grand Rapids State Representative Winnie Brinks, would require doctors to tell patients if they have dense breast tissue.
Obviously, cancer doesn't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat.
Normally, proposed laws are assigned to a committee. The chair decides if it gets a hearing. The committee can make changes to the law, leave it as is, and send it to the full House for a vote, or vote it down altogether. If it passes the House, it's on to the Senate and governor for further consideration.
Good morning.
The breast density bill is in its infant stages, but had been effectively stalled as the chair of the Health Policy Committee had not put the bill on the agenda for a hearing.
Oh, this is very frustrating. She has expressed that she is not interested in hearing it in committee.
She is Representative Gail Haynes from the east side of the state. Here she is on the House floor wearing a breast cancer awareness ribbon. She made it clear that she was not interested in speaking with us, dodging our cameras and ignoring our request to speak with her.
We'll do any day, anytime. Okay.
Until finally we were able to catch up with her at a public hearing. Walked up to her, cameras rolling.
Good to finally catch up with you.
Oh, yes, I know it is.
We've been trying to for months.
Well, I'm right here.
She says things have changed.
Well, have you not spoken with Representative Brinks?
Well, she says to talk to you about why it hasn't come up in committee.
Oh, she has been told. She was told last week she'd get a hearing.
Okay, when's the hearing?
That hasn't been set yet because of deer hunting and Christmas vacation. But in 2014, yes.
You know
but
what?
you might want to speak to her about that because she does have a hearing.
Okay.
She does have a hearing.
Come to find out, Brinks says the day we spent hours staked out in Lansing trying to ask the right questions, she went to Winnie Brinks herself and promised a hearing on the bill.
She initially had said that this wasn't good legislation at all, and now seems to think it is.
Yeah, apparently she's willing to listen to the hearings, and we've been talking to her about the merits of the legislation, so I guess she's seen the positive of it, and I'm just very pleased we're able to get a hearing.
Breast density laws have been passed in 13 states now, and others, like us, are considering. But it's largely unpopular with doctors. Some fear it might unnecessarily alarm women.
We tell them what their breast density is, but then we don't have answers for them about what that means, then are we really doing them a service?
If you want to know if you have dense breast tissue, in many cases, you simply have to ask. If you've had a mammogram, that information is available in your medical file.
We've saved a lot of people's lives with mammograms, and I've seen thousands of people die because of misses on mammograms. It's critically important to know that, because if you're only being scanned with mammograms, you're significantly restricting yourself in finding the truth about what you have inside of you.
For this unnamed woman, not knowing could have killed her.
What could have happened to her is what happens to many of them. By the time it gets so big that we pick it up, it's already outside the breast, and then, of course, it's a big problem.
Now, Representative Haynes, that committee chair there, did not say she supported the bill. She wants to see if some changes are made to that bill. The breast density bill has a lot of hurdles to jump before it would become law, and there is plenty of opposition in the medical community. Doctors who think that the information flow between a doctor and a patient shouldn't be legislated by anyone, but managed by that doctor and that patient, Sue.